seconds to see if anyone else is going to join us today. Okay. Okay, so I think that we can start now. I'm very excited to see you all joining us for today's presentation and our SIMLAB product introduction for Matterport service providers. And we would like to explain today a little bit about our flagship products, Stages and Simon. So before we start, let me just tell you that if you have any questions, feel free to enter them in our chat. I can see that some of you have already sent your hello, so very nice to meet you. And without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Ivor Morgan from Matterport, EMI Product and Brand Marketing Director, who will introduce Matterport and SIMLAB and describe a little bit about our mutual cooperation. So, Ivor, the floor is yours.
So, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
You can. Super. Lots of buttons coming up, which I wasn't familiar with, so I do apologise for keeping everybody waiting. Yeah, my name is Ivor Morgan. I'm the Brand and Product Marketing Director for EMEA from Matterport. And I'm here just to provide a little bit of Matterport context around the webinar that you're going to be seeing this morning. And I just really want to put it into what we're trying to establish with Matterport. So let me go to the next slide. There we go. So this is a quotation from our CEO, RJ, talking about the plans for this year and the coming decade. I'm not going to read the whole thing out to you, but the really important thing behind what RJ is saying here is that we're moving as a company from providing cameras to looking to provide solutions to the end users. And up until now, we've done incredibly well with selling our cameras, with working with our Matterport service providers, and in helping customers to start to adopt 3D technology, digital twins, and planning for the future. But one of the things that we haven't successfully done yet is to explain to customers why they need Matterport models, why they need digital twins. And this presentation that we're having today from SIMLAB is about making sure that we are explaining to customers why they need to have the model, what the magic is behind the model. So to keep it short and sweet, really our mission is to realize the full potential of the built world. But the important thing for us at Matterport is that we cannot do that on our own. We need our service providers to help us to get this message out to the marketplace so that the customers start to realize that a digital twin is so much more than just the model itself. It's about what you can do with the model as well. And we've been very successful in convincing the marketplace that digital twins are great for real estate marketing, for commercial real estate marketing as well. Also for marketing, travel and hospitality. We've done very well there. And we started to do a very, very good job in persuading the customers to look at the digital twin from the perspective of operating a space that they own. A lot of our service providers have been very successful in working with construction. So encouraging constructors to use digital twins as part of the construction process. And these are the two areas that we see the greatest amount of potential growth for us and for our service providers in the future. The first being the ability to operate a building, so for facilities management, for example. And the second being to record the construction of the building and being able to collaborate much more effectively and much more efficiently on the building. There are obviously thousands of other use cases, thousands of other ways in which you can put the magic into the model. And as you know, we have got a tremendous ecosystem. We have, a wide range of cameras that will satisfy a number of use cases, from the very, very precise scans right the way through to the casual ad hoc scans that might be needed. And we also have turnkey solutions, in other words, service providers who will work with customers to establish precisely what the customers need from the model and make sure that the model is constructed that way. And we see a large portion of the growth of the digital twin market is going to flow through service providers who are working closely with the customers. But the next evolution we see is in those service providers helping the customers to understand precisely what can be done with a 3D model, and enabling them and empowering them with the right solution rather than simply the right service to achieve the objective that they're looking for. So the question then becomes, if what we're looking to do is to put the magic into the model, who is putting that magic there? And I think the answer comes from three places. First of all, our customers. They are the ones that understand the business need that they have for a digital twin or a 3D model. So they're the ones that are generating a lot of solutions. But also our service providers. These are the people, you guys and ladies, that are going to customers and talking to them and explaining to them what the potential is. So the next step of evolution is to connect you to our platform partners, so that you are able to work with the platform partners to deliver solutions that customers want. And there are tremendous benefits to you for doing this. The first thing is that you become much more part of the business of the customer. You become much more embedded in the customer's business. And what you will be able to do is to generate a new revenue stream for yourself by working with SIMLAB on their products. But you'll also be able to create a longer term relationship with your customers that will have more value. You'll become more of a partner rather than simply a service provider to those customers. So we've been working with SIMLAB for a few years now, and I'm really delighted to either introduce you to them or to reintroduce you if you already know. They have got two absolutely incredible solutions that work absolutely perfectly on top of the 3D models that you create every single working day. I'm not going to go into a great deal about them because I know that SIMLAB are going to demonstrate the products to you, but I just want to put these into a context, if I may. Stages is a product that allows you to record every single stage, obviously, of a construction process, right the way from the beginning through to the very end to the handover documentation. It allows you to make multiple scans and lay scans one on top of the other, so that you can peel back to see what happened at previous stages in the construction process. It also allows you to overlay the scans that you have on top of the technical drawings, so that you can see very, very easily what the variances are. So what Stages allows you to do as a Matterport service provider is to work very, very closely right the way through every single part of a construction process, not just taking the scan, but also adding the value to it by making sure that the documentation is built into the model to make sure that the tags are in place, the notes are in place, the views are in place. So really add value to the model once you've actually taken it. And then you go back and take another scan and reintegrate it back into Stages. So you have a constant revenue stream coming through from Stages. Simon is a tool that allows you to take advantage of the Internet of Things for the purpose of property management. So Simon integrates the Internet of Things with the Matterport 3D model and allows you to build, as a service provider, a 3D model that enables customers to be able to manage a property either remotely or alternatively to take advantage of the knowledge and information that can be derived from Internet of Things devices and displayed on dashboards. So again, you become part of the customer's process. You become part of their way that they manage the buildings. But bear in mind also that Internet of Things and digital twins are starting to take off in manufacturing facilities. So you become part of the customer's business process and the business flow. So these are two opportunities for you to generate an extra revenue stream, but also to start to build really, really close relationships with your partners that will bring in a repeat stream of business for you. So with that, I will hand over to SIMLAB, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you very much for your presentation. It gave a little bit more light into our cooperation, And now I would head on to our next speaker, Marek Kozlak, who's SIMLAB CEO. He will introduce you a little bit more into our products and our business goals for the future. So, Marek, you can start.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marek Kozlak. I'm the founder and CEO of SIMLAB, and it's my great pleasure to invite all of you to this small presentation of what we actually have developed. We're under umbrella of our big brother, which is a Matterport, who is our technology partner. So all of those solutions that we're gonna show you today is like an opening to the market. You are the first ones actually to see it today and get the chance to put it into your portfolio of products to distribute along your customers. And I will show you how to do it and how to earn money on it and what additional benefit on top of your already existing services it can give you to both you and your customer. So this is a small agenda, how I want to do this presentation. So I have my part divided to two actually separate subjects. One of them is like what actually is Stages and Simon, how it works. So I will show you this on a couple of slides and then live demos because the product is live, it's web services, so you will see it yourself in a second if you had no chance to do it so far. And then at the end we can focus on the benefits of what it will bring you and how you can make business on top of that, and actually how much you can charge the customers and how does it look like on the sales perspectives as well. So when I would finish, then I would like you guys to ask questions and have discussions for a couple of minutes or even more, how you actually see this potential cooperation and how we can support you and what can be done. So after my presentation, there's going to be a question session. So if you have any of them, just write them on a Skype, give them to Marta, or then we can just try to answer as many of those depending on how much time we will have. Although I will try to give much more light into this two products and how we see our cooperation during my short presentation. So as you see, this is my agenda. So let's go forward. A Matterport presentation we already have had in a couple of seconds ago, and this is our motto. This is what's the mission of SIMLAB. We want to get into your facility. We want to get to any facility which is existing there on the market, regardless which region of the world, and we want to make the owners to feel better with the property, giving them the toolkits for a full life cycle of the building. So you know this slide because this is one of the major slides on the Matterport website's PowerPoint presentations, marketing materials showing the area that Matterport is working. And for those sectors, we have created two products, which in general are one life cycle, full life cycle support for any property which is there on the market. Stages and Simon, instead of just describing, I will just show you this in a second. So this is just to let you know that we try to support a full life cycle of the building, of the property, not just for the design or construction, but for the next 20, 30, 50 years of existing of the building, giving a useful toolkit that you can actually run on your cell phone, on your touch screen of your tablet, or even on any kind of the web access device. So who are we working with to bring this technology back to life? So most of it is Matterport, who actually has invested money into the SIMLAB. So we have a little bit more relations once you are wondering what's there. So not just technology, but we are kind of connected also by the financials, but we are still independent entity, which is SIMLAB here located in Europe, in Poland. And we are like connected to Matterport, but still independent company. So whatever questions you have, you can direct them directly to your sales rep or your like salesperson inside of the Matterport organization. But if that's related just to the products, we can also answer this as again, separate company up till now. So we also working with the KNX, which is the biggest home automation standard in the world, and other brands like FIBA, Schneider Electric right now to provide the second part of the products that we'll show you, which is this smart IoT, and we call it Simon IoT part of our products. And this is very important. Before I will start presenting the products, which I would like you to copy from the chat, that my team will just give it to you and copy, because that gives you the most important emails. Actually, emails, yeah, I'm reading the chat, what you are writing. Yes, we will send it by the email as well. But this is, you can copy right now and start using this, because all of those beautiful slides and the visual graphics that we're going to be showing, also the marketing movies and everything is listed here. So this is like your Wikipedia of what Stages and Simon looks like. And yes, you can use the product, actually use the materials, you can rebrand them, you can put your logos there, and you can treat it as your own sales decks for the customers. So you can just copy paste nice graphics, motto, logos, benefits, and just start using this on a daily basis. We don't mind, and please do that. And as I said, those slides are beautiful. They are showing basically what is Stages, what is SIMLAB, and I will just go through them very, very fast, not to waste time on it, because they are under those links, and there is like 25 graphics or something around that number for each of the product. So just take it, use it, and start playing with those. If you are feeling that Stages and Simon is a good part of your future business, we're gonna be more than happy for you to use it. So for why to use Stages, for who it is, I will just drop that part. That's something that you might need later on to talk with your customers and in the written form, but you will see it live in a couple of seconds. So that's going to be more obvious to everybody. But those slides, like showing the concept of Stages, so showing the main perspective of Stages, and also for Simon, it's there showing how to work with this, what kind of the geometries, what's the main concept of it, what kind of the data files we are able to load into the system, that it's multi-platform, that regardless any kind of the technology like the operating systems, because it's the web technology, you can basically use those lines. And this is the part that even in our materials, we are showing a full description of the products, which is very important, because as you will see it in a couple of seconds, and then in the next part of that seminar, I guess that product owners, and in this moment, Robert will show you the main difference and answer your questions, what the difference between, for example, web version and standalone version. That's what we have listed. And again, because of the time shortage, I don't want to just go to the details, but I will show you basically what's the main difference, and everything of those kind of the basic questions are answered in those materials on the links that my colleague has just copied to the chat windows for you. And useful and the most important features are everything listed, so you don't have to worry how to talk and what's the arguments to talk with your customers. It's in those materials. The most important, of course, and I will show you in a couple of seconds, where the split screen like this one is the main hype and the buzzword around the Matterport environments that we are hearing and listening, and we get emails from you guys, but this will be presented. And the same colorful, nice marketing materials are prepared for Simon. As you see, there is a lot of place to put your logos on those materials. So start using this. The same questions and answers, why Simon, why it's needed, and for whom it is. It's everything there. Although I would like to show you that this is right now, because of our experience, we know that Simon also is not correctly branded as the IoT or home automation system, because as Ivor has already mentioned, this is a system to run your facility on a daily basis. So there is a little bit confusion. It's still one product, but if we are talking to the customers who are mostly working in the facility management, we telling that the Simon's got a facility management module and asset management module. If we're talking with the, for example, service providers which are doing the home automation installations around the different regions in the world, they are mostly interested in IoT or home automation. So yes, there's a Simon IoT version of it, although everything works in one bundle under the Simon brand, and there is no additional pricing or costs for using FM or assets or Simon IoT. It's all one software. It's just to have a correct targeting and positioning the product on the market if we're talking about FM or like asset management. So this benefits of each of the module according with the beautiful movies. Everything is in the materials, once again, for your usage. So you can click it, you can go through it, you can just use those links right about now, or just keep it with your materials. And we are trying to put those graphics as universal as possible, so you can actually create this yourself. Of course, for each of the product, we have plans, and we have subscription plans, we have enterprise plans, and also we have a concept how to work with Matterport service providers to use those plans and share the, for example, revenue. But for that, I would like to come back to those slides. And in that moment, I would like to show you basically how the products looks like and what actually is Stages and Simon for those of you who are not registered yet on the platform and who are not seeing this before live. Because seeing this on the movie is one thing, but actually clicking this yourself, it's another story, because the easiness of the usage of the software and the toolkits is our biggest benefit for the end user, for the consumer, who gets a 3D Matterport model, is very excited with that model. He can rotate it, he can just put some tags, he can send it to the family, he can send it to his business partners. But the excitement of using of those models are dropping down in the next couple of days, and after a couple of weeks, he even forget that he have a 3D beautiful digital twin of that facility. So to bring back this excitement, we created product which allows you to use a Matterport 3D scanned data for the full life cycle of the building. From the very, very first beginning of the construction, which is stages, but also on a daily operation, which is happening during the daily activities of using the IoT systems or facility management and events where you need to change the filters in your air conditioned units. Everything is held in our software. So yes, first one, stages. Second one, Simon. Someone would ask also why we keep two different products. Well, and because we are here as all of the sales team, you know, selling the services to the people globally all over the world, it's because we can charge twice. You know, we can charge them for things that are used for the construction monitoring or aging of the building or changes in the building, and that's one, you know, very, very very often a different group of the target users than the people that are actually using the software and the digital twin for the daily operation. So that's why we keep it separately, but we see somewhere in the long run that probably that will merge somehow in one kind of the hybrid. But if we can charge today and all of us are doing the sales, why not keep it separately, especially that there are two different identified target groups. So stages, if you would like to try it, even right now or after the seminar, it's very easy. So let me just show it again. You go sim-stages.com, and this is the landing page, which brings you straight to the product. The landing page is complete. It shows you the biggest benefits, some materials that you can again copy this from, some movies showing how that works, additionally some graphs and how even to start it. So the basic tutorials, how to do the first demos for your customers or the first applications, it's there. The differences also are between the Windows, which is actually the desktop version, and the web version are also there. As well as you could see, the subscription plans also are on the website. So it's a complete materials, but the most important is that the magic happens once you log in, because it's my computer that I use it on the daily basis. So I'm already logged in, but here in that right top corner, there is a button to go straight to the login. And once you log in, you see those two beautiful icons. One is saying projects. This is where is your all of the scanned data hold it, and organizations, which allows you to share the same models with different collaborators in different companies working under one project on a different levels and stages of those projects. So let's go very fast, not to waste too much time. This is your dashboard. This is the project that are being created by you or being shared with you for a collaboration. So let's take the one that I like most. This is one of our colleagues' apartment, and this is how it works when you actually load it in the first stages project. As you see, everything is web-based, and there is like a small button on the left top corner which opens the stages. So which record here is one scan or one point in a time when the data was collected about the building. I'm saying point in the time because it does not have to be a Matterport model in that particular moment. It can be a blueprint. It can be, for example, a Revit model coming from the CAD data on the CAD systems. So this is archivization of everything, all of the time frames about that facility. So let's say that we are talking about this one. So you see it's existing stage. It's an existing state. It's like 4 weeks of the construction work. There's a date, and you see here it's 89 nodes. What is it? I will show it. But if you're going to close that bar, and you see you can just swap between them, it's like swapping between the stages. If you're going to close it, then you have a 3 main icons here on the top. One is called information. When this time frame was captured, you see it's like a 19th of April 2022 when it was last modified, who was the author of the scanning, what's the description, and what kind of the problems it shows. But the most, of course, important is the Matterport for all of us here, because we are Matterport service providers. But the thing is that why we are not showing Matterport at the beginning, the first answer to that question is that, well, if you're on a construction site, you don't want to download this couple of megabytes to your mobile device. If you are not have a Wi-Fi plan with you, you just want to show what's happening on the construction, and I will just show you in a second. So how Matterport model works, I don't have to explain to anybody that this is a 3D model on the web browser, which is a revolutionary technology. But what is the most important for all of you is that here, if we are in the Matterport model and we bring back the same stages description window, now you can actually select the next model, which was captured about the same facility, and it moves you in a time to that particular model, staying in the same place in the location. So you see here that I was looking at that wall, which there was no carton gypsums, so I could see all of the installations, cables, and so on, and I was just transferred to the next model in the same place. And talking about the same place, it's not the same spot of putting the camera, because it's the closest one to the one that we were before in the before stage, but with the same focus of the camera and angle of the view that I'm actually looking at. So if I'm, for example, looking at that balcony window and I'm gonna select the next one, you see that the progress will be shown, and that's actually showing what's happening with that facility in a time. So you see, the paint is being done, so we have some first furnitures coming, and the lamps are in the facility. So this is basically how stages is named, because it's a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and you can build a full life cycle of the building like this, even showing the aging of the building, or before, after the insurance removal, the insurance problems that were like captured before and after the disaster, or any kind of the claim to the facility. But that kind of the jumping, it's one great story. But what we have released a couple of weeks ago, and I guess that some of you have already find it out in the social media, is that now we are bringing also a new revolutionary way of comparing those two scans with a split screen window, which is this icon on the bottom. And that icon is bringing you like a two side-by-side windows showing this is Matterport status 1, this is Matterport status 2 of the same facility, and everything here is synchronized. So let's go to the scan 1. That's going to be a very great example showing before renovation and where are the cables, for example, and after the renovation. As you can see, everything is synchronized, and this is something that actually Matterport service providers were asking us, please make this option so actually I can compare the side by side with different models that I can choose. So if there is even a 20, 30, 50, 100 scans of the same facility, it's easy just to select the one that is interesting for you. And actually you see that synchronization of the images, actually images of the walkthrough in the Matterport model is seamless and it works very, very smooth. So this is the biggest advantage for all of the Matterport users who has more than one scan of the same facility. So this is basically how it works. So if I'm here, for example, in that corridor, and I want to see where are the cables for installation in the wall, this is the Superman eyes that you can just turn on and see how basically it works. It was laid down before the wall was closed. And usage of it does not require any engineering knowledge. Creating the application like this and this effect does not require engineering knowledge. So everybody can build those demos. And in the last session, Robert, who is the product owner and our manager of Stages product, will show you how to do this demo with 3-4 scans in just a couple of minutes. So that's how easy it is. So yes, I can walk around that apartment and I can see basically how it was before and after using, or a timeline, which was shown you on the right, actually on the left side panel, or with the compare view as it is here. So that's basically why it's called Stages and what Stages is doing. So let me close that view and go back to this, for example, construction site Matterport DigitalTwin beautiful 3D model, and you see that I'm still in the same place. So you see that there are a couple of navigation methods. One, which is the left side control panel, but also because that's a touch option, touch screen navigation Matterport, pretty useful. You see here that there are stages which are also laid down as the points in time on a timeline. That's why we call it stages. Very often Matterport timeline software or Matterport timeline feature or Matterport time lapse, which allows you to jump between those points using just a touch with your finger on top of the touch screen. So what else about the stages, which is very important and very interesting, is that stages is not just about the moving between the Matterport models of the same facility, but on top of that, we created a very good and very advanced collaboration system, which allows to use stages for everyone who is assigned to and is a stakeholder of that particular project of construction or renovation or insurance claim and so on. Because here there's another big thing here, the plus in the top, actually in the bottom right corner, which brings a new features to Matterport users, and this is issue management system. So if you're thinking about the Matterport tax, this is like a tax on a steroids, which allows you, and just look what I'm gonna do here. Let's say that this is something wrong with this outlet. So outlet is missing. And that issue you can allocate in a 3D space, like for example this. You see there is like an information icon, because you can select if you want to make this problem that you're reporting an issue or the information. Information is great, I will explain it later on, but issue is the most used form here, because if we can select issue, now we have a status of that issue or that ticket that we want to report to any kind of the collaborator. So let's say that's in progress. So you see that icon is being changed, and now I can assign it to the person that is being shared the same model among the organization of my company or my partner or subcontractor or a bank or insurance company or the owner of the facility or the facility management company, or maybe Airbnb person that destroyed something and wants to report that there is an issue. So let's share it with some of our friends. So Jędrzej, who is today with us on a call, this is our marketing director, and then we can describe the problem. Hi. Hi. Okay. There is outlets missing. The customer is coming tomorrow. Please fix it. Please ignore my English mistakes if there are any. So yes, I adding this, and the most cool feature in that functionality is that now we can add attachment, and you can add whatever you want. You can add pictures, videos, you can add documents, PDFs, as many as you want to have an information layer about that particular AC unit that you want to give all of the warranty cards and the instructions to the customer with the handover of the stages to the next owner of the building. But the most useful in this moment is that, of course, add pictures, because that's very fast and very easy, and I can do it with the cell phone cameras using stages on the site. But the most cool feature here is record audio, and using the microphone on your cell phone or the microphone that I'm just talking to you is that, hey guys, this is very, very, very important. Please fix it as soon as possible. You can put the name to it, outlets in corridor, and then save it to your library. So you see it's being added on the go to the cloud. So the same time everybody else is logged into that particular model, they already see this data. So it's constant and very fast, rapid communication. But the third coolest thing in this one is that now, being inside of the Matterport, I can do this kind of the zoom in camera mode, like this one on that particular issue. I can put a screenshot name like outlets missing in corridor and take a screenshot. But screenshot with this draw option. What it does inside of the Matterport model is that brings me this small control panel like this one that I can select the shapes and so on. But let's say that like a free painting, and I can do like this, and I can make like this and put missing. I'm sorry for my handwriting, missing. So that with a save button is a quick add notations that customers can make in the Matterport right about now and make a library of the issues. So if you are talking that your digital twin with the Matterport brings you all of the data about your construction progress or how does it look like, this is how you mark issues inside of the Matterport with your finger on a touch screen. And if Jędrzej, sorry for this difficult name, is getting this in this problem report, then Jędrzej, of course, can say, okay, no worries, we'll fix today. And this is being documented because now I can, as the owner of that kind of problem, reporting this to the stakeholders. Okay, thanks. I can make all of the correspondence, and that's how all of the informations are being reported, are being saved, because the third magic button, which is here, the notes, creates a full report of what's happening in that facility. So if you see, I just make this outlet is missing with a date, with my name, and it's actually adjusted and actually saved to the report what was happening in that particular facility. So the construction teams, or like a product, not product owners, but the facility owners, this is how they can communicate with many collaborators using a Matterport technology. And of course, you can filter this through the facilities. So you see that in this one, there is 19 nodes, 22 nodes, and each of those nodes, it's got their own location, which is obvious because it's a Matterport model, but you can filter those nodes for the status, for the person, for the subcontractor, for answers in that time of the, for example, construction process of the building. And this is a very complex system that allows you to put everything about that process of building or aging of the building or removing the insurance claim in a Matterport environment, which is a very visual and does not require, again, engineering knowledge. So that's basically how Stages works, has been constructed. Very fast, I will show you what's the difference between Stages desktop and Stages web. So as you see here, now we have a Matterport here, OBJ Matterpack data, which I can walk through freely in a 3D space. There's a construction timeline, which is the same timeline that you could see on the web version. But the main difference here is that if I'm gonna go to the compare view, is that now I can compare this 3D Matterpack model with anything else which I have in a data, because a desktop holds a 3D models as well. So you see here, it's a 3D model from Matterpack, which I can compare with a blueprints, or I can compare it with, for example, CAD models, which is coming. So you see, this is like from engineers, as designed versus as built. Then I can compare that, for example, with another stage. Let's say that flooring, which you see there's a little bit more mess coming, some devices are coming, but I can compare it also with 360 panoramas. So you see on the left side a 3D geometry, which can be a CAD Revit data, which is compared with a 360 panoramas, and everything is synced in one app, one system. So you see here this is a Matterport model, and on the other side I have a Revit model. So that's going to be a very cool. If I'm going to go back to the CAD, so you see here, this is I'm moving in the Matterport, and the Revit model is being adjusted to what's happening. So that stage is desktop, and I guess that we can answer you more questions with the product and desktop web differences to the Robert at the end of that session. So that was how it works with stages. Very quick about the Simon, because it's much more easier to explain. Here it goes. So the next product is that you have your facility already working. And again, the product has a full website with the tutorials, materials, how to start, demo projects. When you logged into the application, you are inside of the our administration system, which gives you some information about new product updates and so on. But once you logged in, it gives you also access to the facility that you have access to. So let me go very fast to the office that I am right about now in it. So it's our SIMLAB office. And again, Matterport model is being loaded, and Matterport model is being used as the container for all of the data about the facility. So as you see here, this is a Matterport walkthrough, but right now we have those 3 modules that we were talking before. And as you see here, there are some icons, but those icons right now, it's our IoT and home automation connected systems from many vendors and providers, which allows you to connect lights on and off, which I just actually switched off at my colleagues, which are sitting in the room next to me, but just to show it how fast and how reliable it is. So behind me, there is this LED light with a small icon in the exact XYZ location in the Matterport model, showing that it's a 2.2 watt consumption. So I can open the control panel, and in a couple of seconds, I can switch off and I can switch back on that RGB light. Also, there is a lot of widgets showing basically the closest devices next to you. So as you see here, it can be light controls, plug controls to control your electronic devices, but also that's the same for the motion sensors, temperatures, and everything here which is connected inside of the Matterport models through IoT devices. So this is a Simon IoT tab in one product called Simon, because as you see here, this printer is right now using 15 watts of the energy in the idle mode. On the standby mode, there is some light controls which I can take on and off, which is very easy and very intuitive. But the same printer here, if I'm gonna change my tab to the next one, now becomes an asset. So the asset means is that that printer, when I'm gonna click it, and again, something like Matterport tags on a steroids, is bringing you all of the data about the printer. It's showing you the pictures. It's showing you the manual, which can be a movie in this moment, showing how to use it. But it also shows the most important things for the homeowner, users, or facility manager, which is warranty cards, invoices, all of the manuals connected to that model that I can just download, see, or preview, connected exactly in the XYZ space of the model. But on top of that, we have one more icon, which is very important for facility managers, which shows you a time frames, showing that this printer is having a service on the 10th of the November, and also there's end of the warranty, which is worrying because that means that it's out of the service. It's coming on the 11th of the January. And that means is that if I will look around me, even the carpet here becomes an asset because it's got some, for example, pictures, but also it's got some invoice that I paid for that flooring. So if I want to do the service, I don't have to look for the documents because it's attached to it. And it will be like Matterport tags, but on, as I said, on steroids, because those categories that you see here of the assets, which are listed on the right panel, this is categories that you can build yourself. You can create your icons, you can create your structure, it can be machines in a factory, it can be your assets and plants in your house, but whatsoever with the icons and the categories, you can create it as you wish. And that's second module, which we call it a Matterport assets. But going even a step further away, if you're gonna remember that we put a date to those, some of those assets, like a end of the warranty, and you're gonna go to the next one, next icon. Now we have a Simon FM system, which is a facility management system, because on this small timeline, it's showing you the next and past events which are coming from today to the next following days, and that can be also synchronized with your calendar, so you know basically how to maintain your facility. So let's see what we have here. Alexa, there's some kind of the event, aquarium, plants, Alexa, or printer, but we were in a printer, so let's say that there is aquarium, a service coming to the aquarium. Where is the aquarium? Well, the aquarium is here. So what the service is needed, then I can click it and I can see basically that what it's coming and what's happening. So a small facility management system, which is connected and giving you the most obvious things which are happening in your calendar in that facility. And as you see here, now I have a next button, which is showing some kind of the dialog box. So if you want to click it, there's a one, and it shows that please fix. So that means is that if you have a facility management system, you have asset management system, but also the home automation system, now you have here a communication system with a collaborator of that facility, which can be a facility manager, and what is to be fixed. So let's see. Stopped working, please fix. So we see that there's a tablet to be fixed. I'm on my way. So as you see here, there is a full correspondence, the same as it was in stages, with a person which is a stakeholder of that building. But also you can make a pictures, you can tag an object and create some kind of the ticketing system that please fix my AEC unit, or the computer is not working, or there is a leakage on the tap. And that actually is being shared with as many people as you want, using a Matterport as the container for this facility data. And this is a question that I get a lot, is people are asking me, but yeah, you know, I don't want to go from one part of the office to another one just to turn on and off the lights, because that's pointless. I want to do it fast, and that needs to be working fast. So that's why we have those assets as the widgets on the right panel, that you can make your own, how to say it, order of those most important things. But also we built a very complex dashboard about that system, about your house, where all of the traditional icons, like you could see here, for example, let's see the box one, which is like a person where people are sitting. So you see that all of those icons for the IoT can be rearranged, and if you like the old type of the version of the fast access to icons, this is what we actually are providing as well. But the good thing about this is that each of those icons, if you have a skyscraper or the airport or a big building or even the residential for like a 200 square meters, each of them has got XYZ location through the Matterport model, which we are using here as container for all of the data which are happening around that facility. So this is Simon and stages, which we are prognosis to be used as the home operating system, that your history of the building, your issue management of the building, your facility management activities, your assets, and also your home automation layer is integrated into the Matterport model. And that's basically how the stages and Simon are being constructed. So knowing this about the products, what's the difference between them and how they work and how easy they are in usage, let's go back very, very fast to our presentation so we can describe what we can do with those. Okay. So now when we are in that subject, the question would be, I guess, first one, how much does it cost? So it does not cost much. Why? Because we are charging per seat, both to stages and Simon. Stages, if it's for a private use or the small business use, we are charging this for the $45 a month as the subscription plan for a user. So if you have like a big construction site, for example, with like 20 people working in it, or maybe like a bank, insurance company, architects involved in it, that's at 45 per seat if the person needs to have access to the facility. For that one, we also have like a enterprise level customers where we want to push them towards like a much more fixed prices where we have everything paid per year. And depending if it's a small business or like enterprise customers, we can have a different type of the pricing. So we both actually earn money on that customer. But 45, why this price? Because we calculated like a one man hour on a construction site as the $45 average in Europe. So this is like that kind of the price level. And in regards to stages, we charge for active projects. And the question, what's active project? The answer is active project is the one that is being shared with the collaborators. So if, for example, you're doing a handover of the finished construction towards the homeowner or the facility owner or facility manager, at the end, he does not have to pay our subscription fee because he's using this for his own use inside of his own needs. In the moment he wants to reopen the project and share it with more collaborators, this is the moment that he needs to pay back for the license. So a lot of people are asking us, do I have to pay for the building for the next 20 years, $45 a month? Well, I would love to, but you don't have to. Because if you are not using stages on the collaboration side, then the price is dropping to zero because it's our project. You want to start reconstruction, renovation, that's where you can do it and renovate your license. And the same with the Simon, although the Simon is more dedicated for the homeowners and small homeowners. So we have a plan which is saying that the Simon fee is the fee of a Netflix or the Ring doorbell or any other IoT service, which costs around $10 a home. That means up to 3-4 users can be hooked up to the same license. But there are also a family plan, small business plan, and again, the enterprise level customers, which is like a little bit different and higher end of the customer, which means that can be a small office building or it can be an airport. So that's basically what's the size and range of the services and the software and what's in it for me, I would say. So, and what's the benefits for the Matterport service provider and Matterport service provider? Well, first of all, with this software, you can do a big upsell to your existing customers. If you have a relation with your customers that paid a good money, you can always come back to them and offer stages as the facility aging process, or probably get closer to the customers, offering him upsell of what already you have done, exchanging the experience, which is from a digital twin model. Now you can provide them a service of how actually capturing the statuses of the building once a year, or maybe going back to the construction site and giving them the software to maintain the construction. And that brings a huge added value to the standard digital twin models of the Matterport. And what is it in for me? Well, you have a returning customer that actually is under your care, and actually you can come back to him much more often. And we, as the technology providers, we have our reseller plans, which saying that there is a 30% of the margin from any contract with the customer that Matterport service provider or any other service provider is bringing to us. How to do it? Well, we have a reseller agreement, which is very, very basic. So for all of you that would be interested in those products, we can share this agreement and just talk about it. But it's really, there is no obligations. There is no monthly revenues that you need to provide to us. It's just material and most of the marketing materials sharing and representing our products in your portfolio. So pretty simple agreement, and I don't believe that any of you would have any problems with signing this because there is no obligations in it. But that agreement gives you 30-70% split of any potential revenue coming from a particular customer. Because if the customer register, it register with a code which is assigned to each of the reseller, and knowing how much the customers with the same code is in our database, in a quarterly periods of time, we're gonna be sharing the revenue from that particular location, space, customer or enterprise deal. So that was all I wanted to show to you guys today. I'm sorry, I was in my speech paste, so I did not read all of the questions coming here. But if there are any questions, I'm more than open to answer them on that level. What are the features? What are the benefits for the customers? And how we can cooperate according to this like 3 seconds explanation that I just did at the end. So I would like to open this question and answer session right now. If you have any questions, just ask freely. I don't bite.
Okay, thank you, Marek. Thank you so much for the presentation. Yes, exactly. Now we're moving on to our Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, we see that someone is writing a question, so we're gonna wait a couple of seconds with a small break, and let's hope it's not gonna be a geography or mathematics question, but the one considering SIMLAB and our products. Is each stage a new Matterport model? Well, yes. So what we are providing with stages, we are providing kind of the Lego assembly toolkit, because in one stages project, you can have several Matterport scans connected. And also, it's not released yet, but we're gonna be giving an option to all Matterport service providers to connect models, which can be a floor to floor or side by side in our stages engine. It's not there yet. It's coming in the short couple of weeks. I think that Robert will answer that question maybe in later in the next demo session of the technical session. But you should treat stages projects as the facility. So whatever is about that facility goes into it. It can be Revit model, it can be blueprints, hundreds of blueprints actually. It can be few Matterport scans in that time. It can be Matterport scans 1 year later. For us, it's still one stages project. Okay.
Okay, so the next question is, how does the synchronization between two models happen?
That happens with SIMLAB magic. We created our own automatic systems to align models. So you as the Matterport service providers don't have to worry where to put cameras, because we always are shifting you to the closest one with the exact camera view for that particular detail. And how to do it, Robert will show it after I just shut up and let him talk. Because, and for you to understand, that can be done both in the web version and desktop version. We believe that 95% of the customers at the end will use only a web version, because it's very easy and very fast. But if there is a BIM manager or VDC department in your customers, they will probably would like to have a Revit, a blueprint as well. So for that is a desktop. But both of them are using a same 3-point synchronization method, which allows you to synchronize Matterport 1 model today and Matterport model from like 2 years ago in, I would not like to lie to you, but in 20 seconds. And that process is really easy, no engineering needed. Robert will show it this in a couple of minutes after this session. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we're moving to the next question. Can you share example of Revit model and Matterport model?
Well, that's also a little bit tricky question, because we don't read directly Revit file format. We are reading IFC format. So if you are in Revit, you are saving the file as the IFC file. Actually, you are saving your project as the IFC file, and then we are reading IFC directly into stages. You just drop the link into the IFC, into our browsing window, and that's IFC versus OBJ from Matterpack, or IFC versus Blueprint, or IFC versus Matterport walkthrough, which you can do in Stages desktop version. If there's going to be enough time, I think that Robert can show also this, how that particular situation works.
Okay, so the next question is a little bit longer, and it's I think it's regarding Simon and Schneider's product. So, Michał, maybe you can take this one.
Hello, everybody. I will introduce myself. My name is Michał Szopa. I'm product owner for the Simon, and it's a question to me. According to the Schneider Electric and the Wiser, yes, we are now using the pre-production cloud, because the Wiser production cloud was released a couple days ago. And we are now in the process to change all the API to connect to the final production cloud of the Schneider. If you want to connect right now, we can meet after the webinar on today or maybe tomorrow, and I will show you how it can be done together with our colleagues from the development department.
Okay, thank you, Michał, very much. And the next question is, would you consider any kind of exclusivity agreement in certain areas for a particular MSP?
Well, we were expecting that sooner or later we will get such a request, but we did not consider it yet. I don't want to say that the subject is closed for us or it's open for us. We just did not think about that, because we wanted to give everybody an option to just use Stages and Simon, because as you see, the pricing is not very high, so it's not like a big expense for the customers. That's why we are counting of the big number of the potential users coming into our system and our community. In that regards, we did not consider this as the exclusivity agreement for the regions, but the subject is open, and we can always, off the record, actually off the offline, go back to the discussion.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have time for 2 more questions. So the next one is in Stages in the web version displays the 2D and 3D models?
Well, in a web version, we only focus on the Matterport walkthroughs, and that means that Matterport experience is shown on the web version, because it's fast, it's reliable, and you can just use it on the even construction site everywhere. So we don't run a 3D models, because when we did an experiment, and probably you know that, for example, for the office that I was showing this on the split screen on the desktop version, that model takes 1.5 gigabytes of data, which is like a 3,000 square meters in the high quality with all of the textures. So running this on the web would be very difficult today. But yes, we are researching that subject for the next couple of months with the next upgrades, that we would like to enable it. Today, on the web, you only run Matterport walkthroughs. If you want to run and use a 3D model, then please use a desktop version.
Okay, great. And the last question, can we send Stages tour as a link for end users to see without them getting into the details and procedure that happens on our website, such as Matterport link we usually send to clients?
Okay, we got this request quite often from all of the alpha test phase users. And we must say that we don't have it ready today. We don't have an option for the public Matterport type of the public link ready today. We are thinking to release it, but please also consider our position. We are a startup. We would like to show traction of the customers. We would like to have customers registered, so we can show that we have interested people with that number of the people using this in the public mode, using this in the registered mode, and using this as the paid license mode. So for us, that would be a shot in my foot too fast if we can do that public mode, because I think that with that option, maybe one person will register for another 10 using the public links only, and we need to show traction. We need to invite corporations to use our systems. And I'm completely honest with you guys in this moment that we would like to build a traction first before we will launch the public mode. We are thinking about some kind of the hybrid for that, but we are not having this yet. And I think it's a subject for the next 6 to 8 weeks to think about any kind of the hybrid.
Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone for sending in your questions. I see that we have some more, but we'll answer them in the second Q&A part after we hear a little bit from Stages and Simon product owners. So
if I can comment, if you are interested in the communication after the seminar, I can stay for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 hours, and we can just answer more of your questions. But if not, and you will be already gone, we will take all of the questions from the chat and we will try to put them under the link for all of the people at this webinar and just send you the answers on any kind of the form.
Yes, we'll try to answer all of your questions as well as we can. So now let's move on to Robert Chalewski, who is Stages product owner. He will give you a little bit more insight about his product. Robert, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marta. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert. I'm product owner for Stages, and as it said in this part of our webinar, I would like to show you how to handle basic operation in Stages. Let me share my screen. Now my screen should be visible. Okay, to show you the first steps, I have especially prepared a user account that is not related to any organization, has no defined projects or particular stages. As you can see, right after logging in, you will get a view of the project list. The list is now empty, no project has been set up. However, when we try to set up a project, we get a message that no organization has been set up. So we have to start by set up an organization. We can go to a small toolbar at the top of the screen, click the organization, and here is a button, Add Organization. Okay. Now, let's stop for a while in the organization menu, because this is the part of the Stages when you can create permissions and manage the users, which should be able to see your projects or do something in your projects. Especially important part is role of the users, because as you can see, we have 3 different types of the roles in our system. And when you creating a role or creating invitation for someone with the access to the system, to your organization, in fact, it is very important to choose the proper role, because if you give the access to the project with the admin role, this person will see all projects in your organization, all of them. So this is very important when you're creating and sending invitation to your project. The basic role is much more safer, if I can say like this, because there is some restrictions for this role, but it can be also be a little bit set up. So I think that the best choice at the beginning is to give the invited person role basic. The role viewer is only a viewer. He cannot do anything with your project, cannot destroy anything, cannot make annotations, cannot create synchronizations, anything. Just for the viewing your project and your job. Because many customers ask us how to share project, I would like to show you, because this is in the same section. I mean the same menu organization. And if you would like to add, invite some person to your organization, because that's how it works. You are inviting person to your organization and giving them proper role. You can set up the visibility of your projects for this person. So if you would like to share your projects, just click the add new user, and in this field put the email address of the person you would like to invite. From the selector, you can choose the proper role. As I said, we have a three: admin, basic, and viewer. Let it be basic. And from the third selector, you can choose the project, but because there is no project created at this organization at the moment, the selector is empty. So I will get back to this part when we create a first project. Because our organization is already established, we can go to the project again and click add the project. We are choosing the organization for him, clicking confirm, and we see the panel with the details of the new project. We can put some description about it. And you can also put the address. It's integrated with Google Maps, as you can see. We can also add some photo to this project, and it will be shown on the main screen with the list of the project as some kind of tile or puzzle. It is our main board, our dashboard of the project. As you can see, we can search the project under many criteria, like the name of the project, date of creation, author, or organization, which is owner of the project. At any time, of course, we can go to this detail of the project and change something. And if we like to work with our project, we are clicking the tile, and we have a view of our fresh new project. Project is created, so we can proceed to add individual stages. To create a stage, we are clicking the button Add Stage and putting the stage name and the date of scan, in fact, because in this field we are putting the date of the scanning the object. The same way, the next stage. And another one. Okay. We create 3 stages. A little correction. Now it's good. And next step is to add the component to particular stages. So we can do this like this. We are choosing proper stage, clicking the add component, and here we are putting link to our scan. The name of it. The same way for the second stage. And for the last one. Okay. Now we have all three stages equipped with the components. Of course, there are Matterport walkthrough. And now some details about the components and its visibility in stages. As you can see, all three stages has a mark not synced. That means that any of the stages are not synchronized one to each other. And this is the very important point because a lot of customers ask us how to start the process of synchronization. At the beginning of the process, the first stage should be marked as synced manually. And under these three dots, we have a short menu, and you can choose Set as Synchronized. This is the moment when we can proceed with the normal process of synchronization, but the first stage must be always marked as synchronized manually because it will be our reference scan and others should be synchronized just to it. Marking stage as synchronized allows us to see it on the Matterport tab. And this is the moment when we can add some notes for it. We can set the type of the note, just like Marek showed a few minutes ago. We can set up a stakeholder and the description. Speaking about the notes and the issues, it is one thing that that is worth to mention about it because some changes in the notes are how to say. For notes, we prepared email notifications for some operations on the notes, and for example, if I set someone as a stakeholder, so the person will get the mail with this information. Author of the note will receive the email information about the changes in the note. For example, about changing the status, adding the media, or adding a comment, because as you can see, at the bottom of the dialog window, there is a place for comments. So author of the note will be informed about any changes in the note by the email. All notes are collected and displayed in the Notes tab, and in case when the notes has its own localization, for example, like this. This is the localization of the node. As you can see, this is the yellow marker, and it means that this is issue in progress. We have a color coding for the types, for the statuses of the nodes. For example, result is green, and unresolved is red. And if the node has its own localization, clicking on the navigation icon, moving us directly to the node of the Matterport scan. Okay, this is about the nodes, creating the nodes, creating the localization, and let's get back for organization for a while and the users, because I would like to show you how to invite users to our organization. We are clicking the button Add New User, putting the email address of the person we would like to invite. Choosing the role and pointing the project for the invitation. And in this moment, my colleague should obtain an email with the invitation, and in his selector of organization should be marked a new organization, new invitation for organization and project. I point my invitation. Great. Okay. There was a question about the process of synchronization between stages. I will try to show you how it works at the moment. As I said before, we have to at least one stage marked as synced manually, and we would like, if you would like to synchronize the next stage, we are choosing from the menu synchronize, starting the synchronizing mechanism. Okay. And the whole trick, if I can say like this, is working like we have to set 3 unique points on the one stage. Let it be point 1, point 2, and the point 3. Okay. Now we're choosing the next stage, which is already synchronized, and we're repeating the process. We have to mark exact the same points we set at the previous stage. So when I click those white field, it will show me a little hint here. I can click it, and it shows where I placed the marker for synchronization on previous stage. So I can put it exact in the same place. And the last one. Okay, we're accepting synchronization. And as you can see, the first stage and the second one is synchronized. That calls that those two stages will be shown on our timeline. This is stage 2. And this is the first stage. When I'm moving between stages, I'm still standing in the same place.
Or you can just show it on the compare screen. This is the best result to showing that, you know, everything is synchronized.
Of course. Stage 1. And stage 2.
Okay, Robert, because our time is shrinking a little bit, let's stop it at this moment and let's give the words to the Michael, okay?
Sure, thank you very much.
If any more questions will come to Robert, how to do something in a desktop version, we can do it in the last Q&A session.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Marek. I will try to make my part of the presentation very fast and smooth, because it's also fast and smooth the configuration of the Simon process. First of all, you need to go to our webpage, like the sim.com, sim-on.com, and there you have the login button on the app. And you need to register your account in our cloud. I'm already registered, and that I'm clicking only the login, and I have the first view and the first screen of our solution. First of all, I need to add new property. How I do it? Clicking the add new property, and I need to fulfill some information about the property, like the MSP webinar test, some address, zip code, and some country is obligatory. For example, I will try to maybe Switzerland. Okay. Next step, I have to choose the configuration method of the importing the rooms for our solution. First is the importing from the provider. If you have some IoT provider, you can click this one. If you haven't and you want to create a custom rooms only for the assets and tickets and some other facility functions, you can click the create custom rooms and then manually put information about the rooms into the system. In this case, I will importing from provider, and for example, from the Fibaro IoT system, but you also can make with the SmartThings and the Schneider Electric Kinetic system, but as one of the participants give us information that we are only on the pre-production servers right now. We are waiting for the production as well. To connect to Fibaro, it's the Polish IoT manufacturer, but in the nice company part. I click into this Fibaro and goes to the login screen for the provider. I need to put some credentials here. And I have right now the authorization. Next step is to choosing the centrals, because we have two centrals for the Fibaro in this house. I can choose both of them, not only one, and then choose the rooms which I want to import. To be fast, I can click select all rooms, or only choosing one or two or three. It's up to me. After that, I select all rooms, I go next step, and here I have the place to put the Matterport link. I choose one of the links for the houses, clicking shared, copying the link, and putting here. Now I have the preview. To be sure that the link and the scan is good, I can move here on the scan as well. And going next, have the project summary and confirming the project. And now all the magic is doing that we have the new project on our apartment. Next step I need to do is the adding the swipes, the places where the camera stands on this on the scan to particular rooms. For those, I need to click this on the app, this key lock icon, and choose the room. This is TV room, and I'm choosing this one. And for all the swipes, I need to do the same thing, but it's very fast. As you see, I have 4, 5, 6, and for the whole property, it takes a couple of minutes. When we have the swipes already assigned, as you see on the right, I have all the devices already imported, and I can put it into the walls. The devices on the right will be changing according to the location where we are standing on the scan. For this one, I can put some maybe motion sensor on the wall, like that. I need to click on it. I have the pop-up menu, some pencil icon. It means that I'm going to the editing mode, clicking the plus button, and I can put somewhere on the wall the icon. Okay, the same thing is for the other icons, like for the maybe some doors and some other. And this is one thing we can do it. The second one is the, okay, I'm on the wrong swipe. The second one is the asset menu, and it's working very similar. Like we have here the add asset button. I can click this plus and give some asset name like the plant. Adding the asset, and here I can add also some information about the plant, adding some photographs, like the drag and drop files, or choosing from the Explorer of the Windows. I can add also the URL for the YouTube or Vimeo, putting some documentation in Excel, docs, PDFs, like Marek shows you on the fulfilled asset, and also the event for the asset. For example, this watering the plant. Okay, and the date, for example, for tomorrow, every week, once per week, and I'm adding this event, and this event is already added. Also, I can put the localization like that for the plant, and I have done adding the asset. The event which I'm putting inside the asset, I have also in the timeline. As you see, every week I have right now the event according to the watering the plant. All the devices and all the functions is also available from the dashboard menu. As you see here, we have this sort of normal static 2D dashboard where we can steering and monitoring all the devices we have in our apartment. as well, like assets, rooms, and scenes. Scenes is very nice feature because we can build a scenes in our software between the different providers. For example, you have also the Fibaro system or the Smart Things system and the KNX. You can build the scene which is combining both of those two IoT providers. First, we need to give some scene name. We can choose some icon, for example, the bulb, putting some trigger, like the recurring every day at now will be start, and choosing some devices from it. For example, this ceiling corridor LED light. And then I need to choose the state after the scene will go on, and clicking the save button. And then every day at 11:37 will this bulb turns on. Also, we have some very nice features about the users and the role templates. I will show you very fast. We can add the roles for the particular user for your property. For example, it can be your kid, your wife, or your husband, so on. To do that, you need to add new role, put some role name. And here you have the possibility to add the privileges for all the general features, like the editing apartment info, creating rooms and user and roles, and for all devices to view, control, edit, and blocking the access. For example, for the kids, if you don't want to give them access to opening your garage doors, you can block the access for the garage doors as well. And for the scenes and assets, it's very similar like that. After you're choosing everything, you can click the save, and now you have the role. And after you add new user, you can assign the role for the particular user. And that's all. It's fully configured and fully operational, your home solution. You can add also the tickets, very similar to the assets, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michał, for the presentations. I think it gave a little bit more light onto the product, so now we all know a little bit more of their functionalities. I think we still should have a couple of minutes if you guys want to stay with us for the last questions. So if you have anything you would like to ask, please feel free, and we'll love to answer all your questions.
Well, in the moment waiting for the potential questions, I just would like to summarize this very, very shortly. Both of the products in a configuration, they don't require any kind of the programming. It's very easy. It's just click or drag and drop approach. So doing this extra added value on top of the Matterport Digital Twin, it's for everyone. So that works on any kind of the devices because it works in the web browser, regardless the desktop version, which is much more professional for the product owners and product managers for the construction sites and the VDC teams. But this technology is very user-friendly, and really even the configurations that Michael was doing for the Simon were so fast and so simple that to create, for example, a family house with all of the IoTs and assets, that's maximum 1-2 hours to develop such a full complex application. For stages, if you want to synchronize 2, 3, 4, 5 stages, it's gonna be also around 10 to 15 minutes to create that kind of the experience for your user. So that's the main message that we'd like to give to you, that it's really, really not so scary to create a stages timeline or stages app, because we have a lot of requests. Hey, we have 2 links. for 2 different models. Can you please build it up for my customer? Yes, I can, but waiting for the email is longer than email back from us. For example, even if we answer in the next 1 hour, it's really much more longer than you can do it actually yourself, because there is not rocket science how to do it. So please keep it in mind. Of course, we would love to help you. We would love to advise you. We will want to show you the best practices, and we will still do it. But really, you don't need that help, because after half an hour of the training yourself with our tutorials, and you are more trained to do any kind of the application, both stages and simul.
Okay, so I can see that we have one question. Do you have time tracking system for devices? For example, maintenance date according to a contract. So Michał, maybe you can take this one.
Okay, thank you, Marta. For the devices right now, we haven't the tracking system, but you can make it also the device like asset, and then we have the calendar. But in our roadmap is also the calendar and the tracking system for the devices, like identifying the low battery level and some other situation with the device that will send you a notification for that, or for some technical guy as well.
The products are also in a constant development, so you should be expected that in the next couple of months there's going to be a new versions coming. So we have also a very detailed analytics of what's happening in your house on a timeline, in aggregated charts and display graphs. It's coming. We don't have it yet. We are working on it, but you can consider that a lot of upgrades will be coming for the next couple of months as well.
Okay, thank you guys for answering the question. I think that this is the last question that we received. So I think we can finish today's webinar. I want to thank you all for finding the time and joining us today to hear about stages and Simon. And we would love to hear from you. So if I could see that Marek and Michał have already shared their emails. So please feel free to reach us. We'd love to get in contact with you. And well, we'll hope to see you again very soon.